Oh, there. Aha! There. Now we have. Ooh. We are the both of us with sound.
Technical difficulties.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Fine.
Yeah.
We'll call it that. That's okay.
Okay.
When do we not have technical difficulties? Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna get super technical. I'm putting in my second earpiece. Anyway,
I don't have a first to put in, but I do have some glasses. That's about as technical as I'm going to get this evening.
this is I'm rocking my do not put in the dishwasher Nroth Brewing one. Which,
Oh God, yeah, that looks like it'll. Yeah, there's
oh,
too
it'll
much
all
black
flake.
in it.
It all flakes off of all of them. I mean, I can't understand why I'm myself. So yeah, I've learned the lesson of putting things in and kind of going the other way. I'm hoping to etch some myself. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm not sure if this is going to work with
Because it's green.
because it's green.
Nah, not at all. Oh, now it does because it's
Fixed!
a font. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, we got all of the hooray.
Hooray.
Now, wait a minute. If I do this, I think if I tell it green screen settings, oh, adjust brightness. What? No, that's okay. Apparently, I can't do anything. No, it's just gonna be the. Yep, it's just gonna be that way. And because the real downer there. Wait for it. We got. I allowed myself to be slightly thematically prepared this week.
Did you?
Oh, that's not gonna open at all, is it? Get out the thing. And I have no idea how this is gonna go. With how the first one went, but we'll give it a whirl. There.
Perfect.
Now I did have a hat, but the problem was none of the hats fit. So
Because you got a big head.
I have an enormous
A big
head,
seat.
and it's starting to actually get a little bit troublesome.
Oh, really?
However, I'm excited that my green tinted
works.
glasses those seem to be going through all right, and they almost
Right.
fit wrapped around my enormous face and head.
You look like Elton John. That's wonderful.
A little bit.
You're rocking, man.
No,
Yeah.
we're rocketing through everything. Anyway, are we all set to go? You've got your two
Oh,
on Irish
Oh.
night all set. Well, I am Ross. Joining me as my co-host Ian, and despite the fact we're a little bit early for St Paddy's Day, we are attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry and going into the Irish Reds. And I don't. We have been doing this. I think this is our third St Paddy's Day, but we discussed this where why aren't they Irish greens? Why does it have to be a red beer, an Irish red beer? Red's not even in the flag anywhere. Maybe we'll look that up tonight. We might get to it. I don't know. We'll decide.
very political start. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Like
gonna
it.
go.
Pretty deep.
You've got your nice bonnet, and I think that's are those your thematic Irish cloves on you've got?
To be sure, Ross. To be sure, I'm gonna rock some stereotypical, let's call it what it is, racist Irish terrible accent. Whenever possible, I do actually have the Irish garb like you do for Paddy's Day. But it's in the storage unit, and I didn't get to it in time. So I could be looking as ridiculous as you at this moment, but I'm not. I've gone for a more subtle,
That's true.
kind of 1919 Irish look about me, I think.
Next week will we both be flamboyantly Irish? Because next week we're gonna do it's gonna be fully on, and we're gonna dye the beer green and everything. So that's
We're going to be two Irish weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
well, because St. Paddy's
Crazy.
Day is on the day if it's not on the day of, then we get two. As far as I'm concerned, you got a little bit
Yeah.
of leeway there, and it hasn't quite started yet. It's like when
Yeah.
when Christmas is on a Wednesday, you get 2 weekends.
Yes. Christmas is more of a season, though, isn't it? Paddy's Day is definitely a sort of just. Yeah, I know.
Are you trying to imply that St. Patrick's Day is not a season? Because I know several aisles in local stores that would disagree.
Yeah.
It was up the same week as Valentine's Day, I think.
Yeah, we don't need to advertise Dollarama, but they're all over Paddy's Day, aren't they? They are massive. That's where you got that stuff from. Of course
yes.
it was.
It was pretty good haul, actually. And then the additional stuff that I picked up, I have temporary tattoos. But
good.
I'm saving those. I'm not using them for this purpose because I've got an event coming up this weekend where I'm fundraising money for the IWK. And if I get anything, I will basically put a temporary tattoo somewhere on my ginormous head.
Well, I'm glad that you're actually doing two weeks of it, 2 Tuesdays, because of course this weekend is my night shift weekend, so I will not be joining in the festivities, which is very sad.
Yeah. I will be recovering from a 24-hour marathon, so I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I've got a 1-year-old. We won't be doing much St. Paddy's Day wise either. So that it's pretty
okay.
Pretty easily sorted by that. However, and getting into the actual fact that we're here, we have some beers. We have some Irish red beers. It's been a little while since we've done reds and Irish reds because, for I don't know, lack of a better term, we went through them all. We've been through a goodly number from the available ones from the establishments. The Jeezus Murphy Irish Red. I couldn't get this at the LC, but I could get this at the Saltbox location. And the Harbour Red. Does call itself an Irish Red, out from Nroth Brewing Co. Also couldn't find, it wasn't in our local LCs up here in the valley, but probably can get it down there because I picked that up down in the South Shore while I happen to be in and around the Timberley area. And then it was nice. We had a couple of Irish Reds. And here's the other exciting bit. We got a comment on our Maritime Brew Cool Facebook group saying that the Harbour Red was a favorite of one of the other readers. And I went, okay, so we're not just we're not just painting ourselves in stupid green glasses for no reason. We are actually here trying to continue to find and I want to say not compete but challenge. We are trying to challenge the top Irish Red, and for me it's still the one out of Old Biddy's Irish Red. Great Roads.
Yeah.
Same recipe.
They've got their work cut out for them.
Yes, it's a high bar.
That benchmark. Yeah, it really is.
We have tasted a number of beers. I have cracked my Saltbox Jeezus Murphy because it is raking in at 4.9%. So it is a slightly smaller number. I can't read anything in this in these green glasses. So on the side it says, a copper-colored malt-forward ale, lightly hopped to balance roasted notes with a hint of fruity sweetness. Oh. Did that just say hop forward with fruity sweetness? Do they know what we like in Irish Reds?
Well, I mean, I've been through this a bunch of times. Irish Reds, in fact, red beer in general doesn't excite me that much usually. It has to be something quite extraordinary to have my taste buds frolicking. And the Old Biddy's one, I keep calling it Old Biddy's because it was Old Biddy's. I know that Great Roads, yes, they've kept the recipe. That one had us both going, give me more. Irish Reds and Reds in general don't do a great deal for me. I know they're, of course, quite famously, and you've pointed out as a bunch of times, Russ, the Red, was it Garrison Red or was it, which Red was it? That was your first introduction to something that wasn't bland Nova Scotian.
Rickards.
The old
Rickards Red. Rick's Red.
Yeah, right. So that was your gateway beer into tastings that weren't bland and crappy.
Yeah, I said, what is this amazing, holy cow beer flavor? And it was just, slightly less crap than an Molson Canadian. I mean, between that and the Keats, I think I would still give Rickards Red the edge on tastiness. What are you smelling there?
I'm smelling the malt. This is malt forward. You get your nose in there, mate. That's quite surprising. Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, where it says if it's a hop forward red, does that mean that you just sort of imply that there is a malt flavor to a traditional Irish red?
I don't have a hop forward smell there. I think it's a little bit more malt than
Tis a lovely couleur. I will give them that. Tis a delightful color.
It's got a good head on it too. Now I've made the classic, the junior mistake. This is not my first rodeo, but you'd think it was. I left these in the fridge, mate, till about 7:15 this evening.
Oh dear.
And I immediately regretted it. I thought, oh damn, perhaps I should put those in the oven now for a few minutes, maybe to bring the temperature up a little bit.
Yeah,
but they've been out since.
Just put the metal can in the microwave for about 45 seconds. Nothing dangerous could happen there.
I did that. I'll clean up afterwards. It's all the corner and bits.
That's fair.
But it's still a little bit cool for me, but I don't mind it. All the condensation's gone from it, so it's not as cold as
I did leave mine out in a cold-ish basement. So I mean, it's not frosty cold down here, but it's cool. And since they're reds, if it was a stout, of the stouts and the porters, I leave them upstairs where it's warmer, like closer to 20 degrees, and down here it's closer to like 10 degrees. So I leave the ones that I don't need warm for flavor. A brown ale, a strong ale, things like that. A peculiar even. We need to talk about your peculiar. And that's not a euphemism. But insofar it's reddish. It's reddish brown. It's probably going to be got a bit of a flavor to it. How's your the head did go away, but is yours ready to quaff?
To be sure.
Right. Now, this is I will accept cultural appropriation where we are allowed to give the Irish cheers, which I believe is sláinte.
Yeah, I think so. It's Gaelic, isn't it?
I hear that all the time. People always say when they're pretending to be Irish, everyone always yells sláinte at the pub. So I will accept it for tonight only, and probably next week. Sláinte. Cheers.
Sláinte.
Hey.
Jeezus Murphy.
Hey. That little caramel kick in the middle. Did you get that?
There was definitely a little sweetness to it. If that's caramel, interesting.
But it had personality. The sweet is a personality.
Yes. It is a little maltier than some. That's for sure. For me, hop forward. No, I'm not getting a great deal of hoppiness from it. A little bit,
a tiny amount, yeah. But honestly, more than our favorite malt forward one. So again, it probably all comes down to personal taste and whatnot. Where someone might not say that the Great Roads Irish Red is their favorite. It's too malty. I need to have some more bitters in there. I need to have lots of hops in my face. You will like the Jeezus Murphy then. I dare say over top of. But personally, this isn't knocking anyone off the top rung yet.
You could have a red IPA, because I think there is such an animal, is there not? A red IPA.
We had one at Great Roads Brewing. That is the Disco Inferno red IPA that we tried. Oh, yeah.
That's right, we did. That was a red IPA.
They're all in there.
Yeah.
Enhance thy Rolodex. Now, it's very smooth, and I love this at this temperature as well. It's not too cold, so I'm getting all of it, and I feel like there's the little nip, just a not overwhelming nip of a hop at the start, and then that really nice caramel sweetness in the middle. A bit empty on the back end. Nothing really following it out. I'd like a little more malt somewhere in there.
Reds do that. It's like hop, nip, and a jump. Reds do that to me. They're just not normally particularly full-bodied. They're just kind of there. And that's what this one is doing. It's perfectly fine for me, but it's not setting me on fire. I like you say, it's a little bland, but
you go out to establishments. I think a little bit more than I do. I go to an establishment to an out to a pub type thing, maybe once every couple of months, every other month, something like that. Where we go out and try to do there's usually a birthday celebration of some kind. My good friend Patrick Murphy, with one of the most Irish names you could probably have, he celebrated a birthday just in the last little while, and we were out at one King's Arms Commons, and this I'm going somewhere with this. This is the server comes and says, "Will you have another?" And I am fed up with the selection at a not like you go into a tap room and you know you're going to get everybody's tap room, you're going to get everybody's craft beer, but you go into anywhere else and it's all like, oh, we have good news, we have craft beer on tap. Well, what have you got? Well, we've got the Propeller Double IPA or Garrison's IPA. You know, I mean, even if they've got Hoppy B, then you're almost doing okay, but still, I wouldn't drink a lot of that. So again, what I've come down to, the Galaxy, Propeller Galaxy, is starting to grow on me. I'm starting to like it, just because it's not as gross as all the other stuff. And everything else, I said, could I try a little bit of this? Ugh, gross. Ugh, no, I'm not going to. This, I mean, we're talking like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but honestly, if this came out of any establishment, maybe in the Annapolis Valley, it might be different down in Halifax, all the craft breweries and whatnot. They probably have a lot of really delicious stuff on tap. But if this came out of a tap, I would say just never take this away from me. Sorry, just keep feeding me these because I can drink these. There was another thing on. It was some kind of pale ale celebrational thing, and it was.
I was about to say, while you were thinking on that, I actually saw Pat Murphy, that very same Patrick Murphy of which you speak, this morning of all times. I've not seen him for a little while, and I said we hallayed each other in the corridor as we were passing. I was in the. I don't. You know, you said you sort of. I frequent pubs a little more than you do these days. I don't know. You're a little sproglet, but I don't actually go out very much.
No,
but
I'm not saying that you do, but you hit him maybe one time a month more than I do. I think you and Rebecca often go for an evening.
I was in that establishment only a week or two ago myself for the first time in quite a while, just for a pint, as it turns out. It was the King's Arms Commons. It was after a music event that I was going to be meeting Francois in there, but we didn't turn out in the end. He couldn't make it. But it blew my socks off, mate, to be honest. I'd forgotten because I'd forgotten just how expensive beer's getting in pubs, and it brought it home to me that night when I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. Now, coincidentally, I'd actually ordered, of all things, very Irish of me, and this was 2 weeks ago, a Guinness, because I looked up there and I thought, I'm looking there, I'm thinking nothing's really grabbing my fancy there. Right. I'll have a Guinness then. And by the time she poured half of it, and she said, "That's $10.95, please," I said, "What? $11? Yes, it's $11." And bearing in mind, of course, Guinness is 4%, a 4% beer, $11. And I gave her a $20 bill, and she said, I could tell she was grifting. Good on her for trying, but she said, "How much change do you want back?"
All of it.
That is what the bar girl asked me as I handed her a $20 bill for a Guinness. How much has changed? And you know what I said? I've changed my mind. I'm not going to pay $11 for that. I'll have something more local. And I had the blonde. It's probably the one you're talking about. And it was all right. It was $9.50, I think, something like that. But at least I was drinking something that was a little more local. But even then, and I didn't. And this is me. Now, this is me being a really miserly Brit at this stage. When someone has said, "How much change do you want back out of that 20?" It kind of put my teeth on edge a little bit, and I didn't give her a bloody tip because I thought, how much more do I have to pay for one beer? Than already $11. And I think no wonder people can't afford to go out anymore into pubs, because if you go and have 2 or 3 pints, you're kissing goodbye to about $40. It's crazy. Yeah.
It is most of a grocery trip now.
Scary.
To just go out for one single evening. And so
I don't blame you for not going out very much. It is getting really tight out there.
Even more and even more. But anyway, we could sit and gripe about this kind of thing here and there. I'm getting a little bit more of a I don't want to say a hop, but it's definitely some kind of a it's not yeasty, but it's still a pretty smooth mix. I do like it. It's just not my favorite.
It's okay. It really is. And you did get on that little bit of sweetness in the middle of it, the caramel. It's perfectly fine for a red to me. It's better than it's better than Rickard's. I have to say that, mate. And that was your gateway.
It's true.
It's smoother. It's much smoother because that cuts through that Rickard's. This is a smoother drink. There's still a little bit of head on it, and I don't mind this. This is
nice. Head on mine's completely gone. But I have to say, in looking up, the website does give a bigger story. So it does have the same wonderfully copper-colored beauty, flattens you with a punch of caramel, finishing with a malt-forward hint of fruity sweetness.
Okay.
That's pretty accurate. That's not quite what it said in the can. I thought it was what it was, but it's got a much higher historical story, and well, not higher, longer, but it's higher up on the website. And it's all about, this is why it's named the Jeezus Murphy. So, the first immigrants to settle the Aspotagan Peninsula in Lunenburg County were Newfoundland Irish who were Catholics. They were a hearty lot with family names like Murphy, Keating, and Carroll. During the time of Prohibition, one of their descendants was a man who traveled across Canada carrying bootleg Irish whiskey in a horse-drawn cart. He presented himself to lawmakers as Jeezus Murphy, peddling Bibles door to door. Little did they know that Murphy whiskey was hidden under the Bibles. No one ever checked under the Bible. You never check under what the Bible salesman got. Our Jeezus Murphy Irish Red resembles the vibrant caramel color of that popular drink and celebrates the creativeness of those early settlers. I did not know this story. I thought Jeezus Murphy was just something that you shouted.
You do. You do.
Yeah, I've just kind of heard that from Newfoundlanders. I didn't realize that there was a colloquial. No, there's a Jeezus Murphy from Halifax.
Well, this podcast is extremely educational, Ross, as we've come to understand, because we do find things out on the internet as we're going through, mostly beer related, but not always completely beer related. I actually, it's so I've. By the way, this fella, I found this fella.
Oh, there you go. All right, we're off.
Yeah. I couldn't get much more Irish than this. This is, what's this from? This is educational as well. What's this from?
He looks like
Lucky Charms.
The Lucky Charms guy.
Good.
Except don't show him side profile. That is, where is the, oh my God, get him a sandwich.
He disappears completely. You remember last month when it was, when we happened to have another little, when we were celebrating Valentine's Day. This time we're celebrating the old Paddy's Day. Yeah. And I thought it was such a prestigious occasion that I was going to write an ode for it.
Oh, and, that's true. I remember that now, yes.
I've done the same. I've done the same today. And I thought, let's write a little poem for Paddy's Day. I could put this little fellow in front of my face there. It could look like he's talking. So if you're ready, I'm going to read my poem. While we're swigging this one.
Yep, I'm all set. I will get down to leaving my last little sip in the glass.
Really? Have you? Is that all you've done already? No, I've got wait. I've been obviously talking to.
I've got a few gulps.
Let's go. Okay. It's Paddy's Day today. Hooray! It's not, as we know, but if we were doing this on the 17th of March, it would be more chronologically correct. It's Paddy's Day today. Hooray. Everyone, charge your glasses. Now, I think you can see where this might be going. When folks are seen having fun wearing green, get so drunk that they fall on their asses. Hip, hip, hooray. It's Paddy's Day. And I'm now going to go into my Irish brogue. Why not? Because it's my Lucky Charms. Hip, hip, hooray. It's Paddy's Day. What luck for us and me. There's frolics and fun for everyone. Oh, fiddly-diddly-dee.
I think that would go over a smash in most pubs on Sunday night, especially if you announced to everybody in your tweed vest and bunnet that you had an Irish poem. You can just go in and pretend that you're actually Irish, and then you can be everyone's token Irishman for the night. That sounds like a fun thing to do.
If I wasn't working, I probably would nip out for a couple of hours and say hi to all the people that are going to be having fun this weekend. But no, work is of paramount importance, obviously. And I wish I could go out dressed like you, actually. But just occasionally when you turn like that and the little green thing on top of your head comes into view.
What can I do?
Yeah, I don't... for some reason, I'm thinking of Taxi driver Robert De Niro when when he's short, he's shaved his head.
Oh,
Above
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
thing
certainly.
going on. Yeah, yeah. You're scaring me now. If I don't know if you've seen that movie, he's on top form. This, mate, I'm gonna leave 2 fingers of this.
Yeah,
It really is smooth. I like it. I'm actually enjoying it more toward the end of it than I was
Oh,
at the
I'm
beginning.
the opposite. I think it's not quite as good down at the bottom. I can't wait to get rid of it. It's just I think it's a little thin. It's a little watery. I'd like a bit more of a punch.
Full bodied. Okay, fair enough. I think this is not the worst Irish red I've ever had by a long
No,
chalk.
it's true. It's true.
No,
It is not our worst. Oh,
it does have a little bit of character. I think it's maltier than some of them are, and I would ask for another. Hearty praise indeed. That is for a red.
well, because that's where I've started saying that yes, for just about all of these, I would ask for another now at this point, except for the ones that we don't like, because there's just such gross nonsense in most of the pubs nowadays. And I mean, you're paying $9 for something, you're gonna want to like it.
Yep.
So, what do I say? I think it's a healthy. I think it's a 7.9 out of 10 for me. Not quite an 8.
I'm going to say exactly 7.9. That's exactly what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. No, seriously, for a red. In fact, I'm still getting sweetness now. Actually, I'm not. That's the water I've just had. I've got a little bit of sweetener in the water. I'm getting some sweetness though from right.
Yeah.
From Nroth. It's really quite nice. It's subtle. This is a really quite smooth red. I don't go much on reds, but this is one of the better ones for sure. Thank you. Who's this by?
Saltbox. It's a Saltbox.
Good job,
red.
Saltbox.
Yeah.
I got this.
I do like the can. It's a bright red, vibrant can, and then there's a fist punching through it with a clover leaf on the ring finger as it punches through. It's all Jeezus Murphy Irish Red. I was trying to do a little bit of fact checking, and apparently, the folklore is that someone named Jeezus Murphy was selling bootleg booze from a Bible cart out in Western Canada back during Prohibition.
Was his name spelt Jeezus?
It was not that I can see. It was just someone, he just named himself. Hi, I'm. It's obviously an alias. When you're selling booze from under Bibles, you probably don't want to go by your actual name, which is Matthew Daphne. Or I think I went to high school with a Matthew Daphne actually.
I've seen enough movies with Bibles in them, by the way. If they were being really naive, but maybe movies weren't available back then, to know that you can hide a plethora of contraband in and around Bibles, guns, whiskey.
Can I ask a question? That raises an interesting point. We've watched and seen people always say, "Oh, if you want to get into what's the word? If you want to get into a trade, if you want to make money, the easiest way to make money is to go be a Bible salesman because everyone always buys Bibles. You can always do that." So the question is, where are all the Bibles? If it was a lucrative sales item for the last 200 years, and obviously a lot longer than that, but frontier-wise, here in the new country of landing in North America over the last 200 years, shouldn't there just be piles of them on every street corner? And that then led to me saying, well, people must throw them out, get rid of them, or in the worst possible ways, burn your Bible. And then I thought, is there something against that? I mean, I know there's a big thing against letting the American flag touch the soil. You can never let that happen. The flag does not touch the ground. Right. Can you let a Bible burn? Is there some horrendous sacrilege?
But they used to be, did they not? And I've noticed this when I've stayed in hotels recently or in bed and breakfast. It used to be just de rigueur for the bedside cabinet or somewhere for in the room for
check.
A Bible to be placed. Yeah, but I've noticed that in recent years there's not anymore. Now I don't know whether that's because I don't want to get into religious territory here because of course it would be pretty churlish to assume that for everyone coming in to stay in your establishment, that they're going to immediately be Christians that want to read the Bible every night.
I
If
would
that's your
also
thing.
be a little worried in stating a thing like, "Oh well, we don't do that anymore because we're not technically a, official Christian country." And like, woo!
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of trouble we get into if we said that, but I think if you look up the Wikipedia article, it probably says predominantly Christian country. I think it'll. I don't think it'll say, "Oh yeah, Canada. Canada's agnostic. They're fine. Whatever. It's not a big
but
deal."
I wonder, seeing as we're on the subject, whether Ireland itself, which is obviously a very predominantly, profoundly, not profoundly, but predominantly a Catholic country, and most of the people do have some.
You'd have 6 Bibles.
faith,
You've got
yeah.
I've heard the term "my favorite Bible," but I'm just curious
Oh,
about the destruction of it. I have so many
Yeah,
questions now.
I don't know.
So many
Yeah, I
things
don't
to
know.
consider.
What a fascinating subject. Religion.
It's too bad no one talks about it ever. It's
No
not
one
the
talks about
focus.
religion. Oh,
No,
we should start one, a TED talk or something.
I don't know. I think everyone just fundamentally agrees on religion in all courses and would never get into a fight over it.
Fundamentally, you're probably right.
Yeah.
This is Ross. I can't stress highly now enough
Still
how
like
this has grown on me
Okay.
through the pint, whereas the opposite apparently is true for you.
Yeah.
I like this, and I would totally have another one if the bartender came around and said, "Jeezus Murphy, will you have another?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I will. Thanks very much."
Well, the good news is that we're out to the pub the week before St. Paddy's Day, and they said, "You know what? We've got 2 Irish Reds on tap tonight." And the second one comes out of Nroth Brewing Company down in the city there, and it's just called the Harbour Red, obviously named after Cole Harbour, the area, because I think Nroth Brewing is based on the Dartmouth side of things, and that's out where Cole Harbour extends out to the northeast, straight east. I want to get all my directions right. But there is nothing on this can that gives you descriptions. It says 5.0, and then it's got bright red can the whole way around, and then in red writing. There's no green on this one. There's a little bit of green on the Jeezus Murphy one. In fact, the Jeezus Murphy and the Irish Red Ale is in green. Even the Saltbox logo. Not a single speck of green to be had on the Cole Harbour Red, and not a single speck of description. Well, no, there's a description of 3. They're doing the 3-word thing from Two Crows. Malty, full-bodied, velvety is what it says on the can. But if you go online to the internet, you go over to the Cole Harbour page. Don't go to the Cole Harbour page. Go to northbrewing.ca and you will look it up. It says special blend of, does it say malts or nuts? I have to remove the glasses a little bit here. Special blend of malts. Just enough hop to balance all the classic roasty, toasty malt flavor. This is our take on a classic Irish red. And this is the favorite of one of the guys in the chat, or in the beer group.
Very excited about that. Could this take the Irish Red crown away from Great Roads Brewing, Ross?
I'm wondering.
Description alone tells me that maybe there's a serious challenger here.
That's certainly what I'm thinking. I'm loving the descriptor. I'm loving roasty toasty. I'd like that to be just about everywhere. It's a blend of malts, balancing malt flavor, roasty toasty. There's lots of good things going on in here. It's maybe a bit browner than red in color so far. Smells exactly the same. I'll try the smell on the can.
I was going to say, actually, when I cracked it open and put my nose in there, I thought, am I smelling the same thing as the Saltbox? It smells extremely similar. Yeah, it does.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
Like, I didn't want to immediately comment and say, well, our favorite red is over at Great Roads, so try that one. But, give it its due. Let this one have a moment, and we'll strategically scrutinize it.
I like the head.
Oh yeah, it's very foamy. Oh,
hanging on there.
I was doing some editing and I found an episode of our previous beer reviews, and I was putting it up. just today. I think it was Porter's. Sadly, I don't have all the information in front of me right now, but it was the very first time we found the description for pesky foam. I found the first occurrence of pesky foam, and I think it was number 62. And
Goodness
if
me.
you're playing the home game right now, we are in week number 155. So it's a little bit of a while ago.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Pesky foam, and it's been our go-to when we're describing this beautiful
It's
thing.
it's been a goodly way away. Was it the
Rebecca
rusty?
told me a lovely Irish joke, and it's become. I really enjoy this little Irish joke. It's lovely.
Dear. You're gonna go there.
Oh no! Don't just listen to me. I'm going to do it in my little
So you're adding racism. Fine, let's have a racist joke and a racist accent. Let's just double down.
And it's a tiny bit inappropriate, so just a tiny bit, but not too bad.
Well, that
It's
sounds like
I would call this I'd call this a 12 PG 13 maybe. I
thought
don't know.
You were saying it was a 12 out of 10 for being an inappropriate joke.
Oh no, it's not.
What do you call it? The Aristocrats.
Anyway. I hadn't heard this, but she told me this very early on, and I thought that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. Okay, why does? Oh no, let me do it in my accent. Why does an Irish tin of baked beans have exactly 239 beans in it?
Because they have to make sure it's the exact same number, because otherwise they can't pass the profits on to the shareholders.
Because one more, and it would be 240.
Okay, that's cute.
I'll get my nose in this. What do you think of this? It smells very similar to the last one.
I think it smells extremely similar. So not only can we tell the person who said this was their favorite that there is a better one, but we can tell them that they could go to Saltbox and have one that's just the same.
No, I want the one that's 0.1% stronger.
Yeah, that's two bits of good news. That's true. It's a 5.0 from a 4.9. I mean, it's a good thing we're not operating heavy machinery. It did not entirely fit in my glass. There's a little tiny bit in my can left.
I hear what you're saying about the color of it. It's browner. It's more auburn, and it looks decidedly unfiltered next to the clarity of the Saltbox one. It may settle, but I mean, you and I, we don't mind a little bit of salt. The old sea monkeys, do we?
No, I'm happy to have them in there. That's flavor crystals. It's like Cinnaburst gum.
Yeah, I like an unfiltered beer. I'm ready when you are, mate. What's the word again? Slunge.
Slunge.
Right.
Sludge.
Well, sludge. Before you. I know you can say it, but I'd love to see you spell it.
Oh, the official one? SLAINCHE?
I won't.
There's an accent on the I or something, isn't there? An Irish cheers. Let's see how close I am.
That's wonderful about the Gaelic.
Off. The accent. There is an accent. There's an accent on the A, and it's not CH, it's T. So it's SLA with the accent INTE. Sliente.
I love when you that wonderful Irish actress that I first saw in The Lovely Bones. I first saw Saoirse Ronan, and people tried to pronounce her name, and there's various pronunciation. People are looking and saying, sorry, rules, sir, yeah. When people are trying to pronounce Irish or Gaelic names, it's hilarious.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is a little bit, but that's fine. At least we're not going to make it any sort of a moot point. Ready? Sludge.
No. Sludge. Oh. Oh, it is a bit different, isn't it?
It is very different. Does not bother with that hoppy thing at the front. Does not bother with that caramel in the middle. That is just smooth, sweet malt the whole way through.
It's very even. It doesn't lose its flavor toward the back at all.
Nope. It's got a bit more body to it. The other one is almost watery. It was like a diet red ale. This is it's all in there. Yep.
I'm not sure they even made this with hops. It's ridiculous.
That's very good.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
There's a tiny little. I'm getting something along the top row of teeth in the bitter department, and I can't tell if it's on the tail end or it's just sort of middling through. But it
still tastes whatever it is that constitutes a red and how they make it. It still tastes like a red for me. If I closed my eyes and drank it, I'd still say that was a red. But it's a very smooth, maltier red, and it's quite delicious.
That is very nice. That is getting higher marks than a 7.9. But we'll see how we do when we're getting down towards the bottom.
Oh my god, I've already drunk half of it.
Uh-huh.
I was swinging that on a fair rate. I've just noticed. Oh no!
Very nice.
Oh, I made the schoolboy error again. Look, what have I done?
Did you drink the Nroth one out of the Saltbox glass? Ooh!
I am so sorry, Saltbox Brewery. That's unforgivable. Unforgivable. I did it. I'm going to go stereotyping again. I did it the Irish way. Did it back to front. I wore my left boot on the right foot.
I grew up and I had I think someone bought me a book. They bought me a book of jokes, and they were all a series of jokes that were an Englishman, a Scotsman, and an Irishman, da-da-da-da-da. And it's the exact same thing as a Newfie joke that we have around here in the Maritimes. It's just, some dudes. And then the Newfies do something stupid. And I didn't realize what I was reading. I said, an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman. I didn't realize that there was the stereotype that the Irish were the dumb ones. And because I was like, wherever did they get that idea from? But tell a Newfie joke all day. Oh yeah, hardly hard. Newfie jokes are hilarious. And for some reason, growing up, just sort of, I guess, subconsciously thinking to myself that Newfoundlanders were the dumbest ones of the Maritimers. And I obviously don't think that way now. I'm not even sure I thought that way at the time, but it was the thing. It was just, you gotta tell a Newfie joke. The dumb Newfies, they don't know anything. So anyway. And moving on.
I would imagine that every single country in the world has the equivalent of a Newfie joke or an Irish in their local. I mean, quite famously, I don't want to get into, again, it could be, I'm stepping on some toes here, but the Americans always used to tell jokes. And I had books as well when I was growing up. People used to give me books as well, and I used to read them. There were a ton of, I'm going to say the word. It's not me. I'm just saying Polak. There was this Polak and so Polish people, for some reason, then were the butt of American
and
jokes.
I feel they still kind of are in Europe as well. Like a Polish joke is still a thing.
Yeah. So every little area has its the butt of the joke, and just take yours out, insert someone else's, and tell the same joke all over the world, and there will still be yeah. But the Irish obviously have got the brunt of this because they get it in Newfoundland. Because there's so many Irish there as well. All Irish. We love them. I love them.
This is very good. I look forward to an Irish Red night, except for the times where it's a bit disappointing. But I was looking forward to this, and these are both rather tasty. I think Nroth Brewing is certainly winning for my buck and chips, but mostly because of its maltiness. And it did say, this is what I got to give top marks for what they're describing on the can. Are you telling me what I'm going to get? And yes, they said it's going to be malt with malt and more malt. Boom. Infused. The Saltbox said it's going to be a little bit, a bit of bitter hop and then a fruit flavor. And they did it. They hit it. So they're both very close. Very, very well suited to their descriptions. Which is quite nice. A few times that we read something that says a coffee porter, and then we don't taste any coffee in it whatsoever. And it's like, it's a little disappointing. I don't know what they're doing.
The Coal Harbour one for me is it holds its flavour all the way through. It ends the same way as it starts. It's really smooth, and you can't fault it for that. On the other hand, I was drinking the Jeezus Murphy there and thinking it's got different things happening throughout around my mouth, and I know it left a little bit with nothing to say for itself, but I was actually quite happy. I'd have drunk that. I'd have drunk that for a couple of hours in a pub.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if they then turned up and says, "But we do have the Coal Harbour Red," I'd be like, "Yeah," because it's more sessionable. It doesn't have any peaks and troughs. It's really very, very smooth and full of flavour, and I think it gets the nod.
I wonder if we're getting to the point where we could choose, our 6 favorite reds, and then get little sampler glasses and pour a thing out, have some friends over and say, all right, it's Reds night. We're trying to decide which one's the best red.
Have we tried 6 reds? Yeah, knowing full well that Ross can go to his tech and Venn diagram.
Write everything down. Yes, we have had 6 reds. I think we've had 6 reds that we have enjoyed. Thought were not the worst thing in the world.
No. You mean a red night? Like we'd have an IPA night and say let's do the battle of the reds?
Are we down to that? Are we at competition? So trying everything is one thing, and then I do keep it in my head where I try to decide, that one's kind of up there with my favorite of these ones. So what's starting to happen, and I'm watching some of these older episodes as I'm uploading them, and I'm watching things, and I'm thinking I don't remember these ones at all, and it's us talking about it, and we're saying, that one's about a 7.5, this one's about a 7.8, and I'm like, oh, that's why we don't remember it. They were meh. So we do remember the ones that were like, yo, remember that one? That was, that one just knocked it right out of the park. So I am going to remember that the Coal Harbour Red, if it's not my favorite, it's my close second. I think it'll be my close second because I still love the sweetness, the sweet maltiness of the Great Roads. I don't think this has knocked anyone off the pedestal, but it's certainly bringing the silver medal home to its home country of Poland.
Can you refresh my memory as to what constitutes an Irish red? Because I think we remember reading a year or so ago that all reds were considered Irish, but there were American reds as well that we tried. And is there differences? Quite clearly, there are differences with the IPAs, and people like to say, this is an NE IPA, and this is a...
there's 8,000 PAs. Did you see the picture? There's a new Propeller IPA, and they've described it as a cold IPA. Cold.
That's a description? Is that a flavor?
Apparently. I forget what they call it. It's a different name. So they've got the Azaka and the Galaxy, and there's all kinds of IPAs, and they've got different names for them, and like the New England and this and the hazy IPA. But this one's just, here is the cold IPA. And I went, really? So I think I sarcastically, I took a picture of it right there in the LC, and I posted in the Maritime Beer group, and I said, apparently, we've been serving and drinking these wrong all this time. So we were supposed to be having lukewarm IPAs until now.
Yeah, because I thought Coors had cornered the market. The cold one is a Coors one. I thought that was the flavor of, and now we're starting to say IPAs need to be served. Oh my God!
You should probably serve that cold. And I went, oh snap! We haven't been doing this right. Irish red ale is a style of pale ale that is brewed using a moderate amount of killed malts and roasted barleys. Blah blah blah. Sometimes used to describe a darker amber ale. The true origins of Irish red ale are unknown.
Good. Excellent.
It has been said that ale has been brewed in Kilkenny City at St. Francis Abbey since the 14th century. Bunch of other stuff. Perhaps the most well-known is Smithwick's. Traces its lineage to 1710. That is older than our oldest brewery in Nova Scotia, that's for sure. Company was acquired by Guinness, Time and Barley Wine, blah, blah, blah. Color of an Irish Ale, by region, Ireland, United States. So there are a couple of American red ale. Oh, I didn't know Sam Adams was a Murphy's Irish Red. I've had a Murphy's Irish Stout. But yeah, I think it was just loosely said as if it's a red ale, then it's an Irish red ale. But then some of the American places have decided to start switching and creating. And you have to this is what happens where you're creating styles sometimes. And the Brut IPA that you tried the other week,
Yep.
that's only a few years old. That was invented, and I think it was either 2018 or 2019. I don't remember which one it said. And that was the beginning of the Brut IPA. So that's a much newer form, but I think an American red ale. American red ale beer style is similar to American pale ale and blah 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 blah. Aroma, flavor, mouthfeel. It's not really telling me the history behind this one. Oh, I don't want to subscribe to the newsletter. Get out. Style expectations. It has amber in color of moderate alcohol strength. More bitterness. So yeah, the American red ale is a hoppy amber. So the Irish one is a malty amber.
Right.
They're kind of.
Well, then give me the malty one. The Coal Harbour one, which I've got in my right paw. I'm sniffing them both. Oh, excuse me. When I'm getting my nose back into the Jeezus Murphy, I hate to say it, Ross. It smells a bit off.
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's down to the bottom. I was starting to taste that, to feel that.
It smells a bit like the urinal I used to go in my old.
Yeah, a bit like a sour. Getting in there.
It doesn't smell great, but there again, it's been sat there a little bit longer. I guess most beers tend to smell a bit skanky when they've been sat there a little while. I'm going to go back now to my Jeezus Murphy, and this is going to be interesting because I thought they were both very similar, and I'm changing my mind. The smell was
They smelled very similar.
They did.
Taste,
they don't.
But the Coal Harbour Red is much smoother, and the Jeezus Murphy has got a.
It totally is. It's really, really nice.
The Jeezus Murphy from Saltbox, it tastes a bit more like an Irish Red, but the Coal Harbour tastes more like a very smooth, malty amber.
It smells more like it tastes more like a beer that I like.
Yeah.
than the Jeezus Murphy Irish Red, which tastes now I'm going sip for sip. It tastes like it's just a generic red, and it's a good one. It really is.
It's true.
It's better than many. But the Coal.
I need to get you to try the one that I love, the Tatamagouche Butcher Block Red, because that is one with some punch. That's got some zip and some zing, and I like it. It's a 6.0.
Funny enough, the red Triders, was that the one that had a boxing guy on,
and it had the fisticuffs guy on it, and I need to go back and try some of the Trider stuff because I tried, but I couldn't get into it.
No, I finished the Jeezus Murphy. I'm okay with it. I even said at the time, if I'd had nothing else that evening, I would certainly have had a couple more of those. But unfortunately, Coal Harbour Red has then come along afterwards and said, "No, okay, you can."
That's a perfectly fine 7.9, perfectly fine. But I think the Coal Harbour hit for me as a 9.1. It just.
It's wonderful.
No one's staying in the 8s for me. One's either just out or just in.
Apparently. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say 7.9, 9.1 as well, Ross.
No, you weren't. You did say 7.9, but we usually have them for different reasons. You don't go as high as 9.1.
No, this is a really good point. I like it. If that's a 7.9, this is 8.5.
Yeah, I figured you might go that high. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have to start predicting your numbers based on how you're enjoying it, because I feel like I've got where you're going each time based on what you think. Those are all right. And then next week more Irish. Well, not Irish beers, but we're just gonna make them Irish anyway, because it's what you do on St. Patrick's Day. Is you get served the green lager. So we're gonna have some lagers next week. Just compare them, and I don't think the green is gonna affect the flavor.
Weirdly, it's closer to Paddy's Day, in fact, than this one is.
It is.
Although,
it's true.
To get Paddy's Day out the way, then do people think, we've had enough of that? It's like Christmas. Once you lead up to it, you have a week of it or a couple of weeks of it, and then no one wants to do Christmas on the 27th of December, do they? But we'll give it a go and see if we can do Paddy's Day again on the 19th.
I do Christmas on the 27th all the time. We are in a split. What do they call it? Not fused.
I don't know.
Just sort of not quite extended family, but my daughter, she has Christmas at her mother's, and she comes over here. It's a blended. We have a blended families. Blended family units is the way that runs. Yes.
Splendid.
And that's why we're going to do it.
Thanks, mate. I'm out of here. Do your bit that you do so well, and me and my little leprechaun, we're gonna we're out of here.
Well, good night. We managed to keep the racism mostly under control. Thank you for joining us. We tried a couple of those. Thank you to Saltbox and to Nroth Brewing Company for making a couple of Irish Reds for us to try. We're back here every week, 8 p.m. on the old YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry. You can find our podcasts in just about everywhere. Drink Nova Scotia Dry. You can check out the official website. We've got everything and links to whatnot at drinkns.unsupervised.beer. And I think that's about it. You can follow us on, I think we got a Facebook page or something like that, but that's about the finite of that. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you again